Hello, party people. Hello. It is Randy for Thunderhorse Descendant. I'm here today, and we are going to be finishing up. Well, no, I take that back. We are not finishing up. We are starting this bracelet project. I say finishing up because in this project we are going to use these same little chain links that we wrapped up for the earrings. And I'm going to make 4 of these that look like this so that I can use them in my bracelet. So kind of starting and kind of already started. So here we go. I'm going to be using the rest of these Amazonite, these little faceted Amazonite guys, and I am still using these copper head pins. So if you missed this in the last video, these head pins were looking for a project because they were not of the best quality when we received them. They were kind of bent up and tarnished and just not doing very good. So I do not feel bad about using these larger pins for this specific project. So I have this ready to go. I have 6 links of chain. You may have seen this already in the earring video, but I have six links of chain, and then for each link I'm going to use 2 of these and put on there. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that one time, then I'll probably bounce off. I'll make the other 2 that we'll need, and hopefully we can get 2. I'm pretty sure we can. 6, 8, 10, 12. So we need 12 for each link. So yeah, we should be good to go on that. Then once we have our links together, we're going to wire wrap a few of these larger beads. What are these? This is Amazonite. That's not the right bag. Agate, sorry. These matte round agate. We'll probably only use, like, I'm not sure how many we'll need, maybe like 4 or so of these. And I am going to go ahead and use my Old Faithful clasp. And so let's get this party started, shall we? I'm going to show you how to make this first one. So here I have 6 pieces of the chain, 6 links of chain. And I'm just going to show you this in case you guys missed the earring video prior to this. So basically we are just going to wire wrap these guys on to the chain like so, and we're going to put 2 on each piece of chain. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a couple of times here. I'm not going to make you sit through the whole thing, especially if you may have already seen this in a previous video. So there's 1. So here is, if you don't know how to wire wrap, okay, this is what I do. Everybody does it a little differently. So what I do is I bring in my round nose plier and I leave enough space in between this bottom part of the plier and the bead. So then I'm going to go ahead and bend it. So I'm going to bend it back. It's going to look like this. Okay, so I bend it, I wrap this part over the top so it looks like this question mark. Okay, then once I'm here and I have this wrapped over, I'm going to go ahead and move my plier pressure over to this side so that I can create a loop. Looks like this. Okay, stick that back in there. Now we are wire wrapping these directly onto the chain. This is what they call a warm connection. So we're going to just open this a little bit so that we can get our chain in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into the chain. Now on this last one, it doesn't quite matter. On the last link, it doesn't quite matter which side you put it on, but as you move into the next links, you want to make sure that you have one on this side and one on this side. Okay, where they connect. That way they're going to stay on their side. But for this last one, it doesn't quite matter. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in there. And then what I do is I grab my chain nose and I grab a hold of this loop and I squish it with pressure. Okay, so that kind of brings this all back together. And then I'm going to wrap down towards the bead, making sure not to wrap over the top of my last wrap. So I'll get about 2.5 on there. You can do more if you'd like, but that's what I get. Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to trim this. Boop. And then I'm going to come back with my chain nose and I'm going to just push that tail up underneath the wire so it's not sticking out. Okay, so it looks like that. And that's what you do. So I'm going to show you one more link, which is 2 more little beads so that you can see what I'm talking about on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and bend it. Go over the top, spin the plier all the way to the other side, apply pressure, bring this all the way around to create a loop, open it. And now, when I go to put this in there, I'm going to go to the next link, I'm going to put this in there, get it on there. Okay, when you start out, doesn't really matter which side you go first. I'm going to wrap this around. Okay. Oop, trim it off. And tuck the tail. Okay, so this is what we have thus far. Now this one, we're going to do the same thing. Bend it over the top, spin the plier, apply pressure, bring this all the way around to create a link or a loop, open it. Now this is where it's gonna matter. So when you hold your chain up, you can see on this link there's a side. Okay, so this side already has this loop on it. So I'm going to make sure to attach this one to the other side. The reason for my reasoning behind this is because then when you have them all on there, they're all going to lay where they're supposed to lay instead of all hanging to one side. Okay, all right, trim this off. Tuck it in, and there we go. Okay. So, guess who wasn't paying attention after we just did all that? Okay, if you can see this, I messed up. See how they're both on this side? That's not where they're supposed to be. Okay, so if you mess up, there's a couple of options, but I am going to open this link. I'm going to remove one from the side. Remember not to panic. I'm going to put it back on the other side. So now there's one on each side. I'm going to put this piece of chain back in there. And I'm going to close this up. Is that possible? Yes. Is it ideal? No. So that's why it's important to pay attention where you're placing them. I thought I was, but you know, where you're placing one on each side. So there we go. All right, so I am going to go ahead and wrap up the rest of these. Like I said, you need 12 for each piece of this little link. So I'm going to make 4 of these little links, which is a lot of wrapping. So I'm just going to bounce off and do that, and then we'll start creating our bracelet. Okay? All right, guys, here we are with our 4 little pieces of chain finished. I'll zoom in a little more. There we go. So I got my 4 little pieces of chain all done up, And now we are going to add, I think, 4 beads. We'll start with that, see how much length we get. And I'm going to be using some copper wire. Let me get that out. Go with this 22 gauge soft flex wire. And we're going to get just a smidgen of that. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a loop here. Go around just like we were wrapping before. And I'm going to connect right onto the chain. So I'm going to open it up. And in here, I'm going to go to the last link. Winter's on top of my Michael's box that my paintings came, or my canvases came in, trying to open it. So she's causing ruckus today. And I'm going to go in between here on the last piece of chain with one of the wound up beads on each side. Oh, that's the wrong player. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. 2, 3. Tuck that tail in. And now I can go ahead and put my bead on. I was in debate if I wanted to use a few of these metal, but they have a pretty large hole, so I don't think I'm going to. So over here, we'll create another loop. And I'm going to open that one. I'm going to use another one of these chains. Again, going to the end link, making sure I got one bead on each side, and put that into place. And wrap that around. And there we go. So this is what we're going to have. I think we're only going to need these 4 beads, but we shall see. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. We might only need 3 beads. I think we might only need 3. These all are a little dark. Let me see if I got maybe a lighter colored one. So I guess it depends on how large you want your bracelet to be, because I have a pretty small wrist. Mine is 6 1/4 inches, but if I was going to make this to sell, it'll probably have to be at least 7, right? Kind of depends on what you want to do there. So again, I'm going to create a loop, open it, and I'm going to attach onto the end part of this chain with one of these on each side. And wrap that around. Straighten that up a little bit. another loop. And we are cruising. Cruising. Whew, okay. Last one, I think. We shall see. There is a lot of wrapping going on with this bracelet, but totally worth it in my opinion. I think it's going to be super cute when we're done. The bat phone's just over here, just da-ding. I don't know if I mentioned Thunderhorse Descendant is a working studio, so there you go. It's just work happening. This one got a little misshapen. Give it a little help there. And put on our last bit of chain here. Okay, dokie. Now, at this point, this is where your sizing is going to come into play. Oh, of course, I moved my ducky tape. Oh, here it is. All right, so currently it's 6, and if I add this guy with a couple of jump rings, I'm going to get 6.5 to 6 3/4, basically, which is going to probably be pretty perfect, I think, for me. I might have to add a couple of jump rings. So if you wanted to do that, I would suggest a couple of things you could do for this size is that you could add a couple of jump rings or 2 larger jump rings on the end to make it basically 6.5. If you need to make it larger, you can add beads to the end, wire wrapped beads to the end. To make it probably a 7.5 or so to an 8, depending on what you want to do there. So I think for myself, what I'm going to do is I am going to make it the smaller size. So, but I just wanted to give that option. You could add, because you're going to get, you know, this much length once you get it wire wrapped. That's quite a lot of length to be considered. So I think I would rather go go ahead and put on a couple of jump rings here. Those are not red bronze. We need red bronze or copper. Here's some copper. Now, if you were using a lobster claw closure or, you know, whatever closure, you could add an extender chain, which means you could just make this size and then add a little extender chain as well. There's a bunch of options, so just throwing it out there. I think I'm going to use these copper jump rings. These are 8 millimeters. And I think I shall start with, I got out 4, but quite honestly, I don't know if I'm going to need 4. I think I'm only going to need 2, but let me see. So it's going to go into the end of the chain here and put on my clasp. I think this is going to give me the size I want, and if it doesn't, then I'll add another jump ring. But because I'm using an Old Faithful, which is not adjustable, I want what I want, you know? Okay, so let's see. It's cute though. Let's see if that is enough for me. Whoop. It's a little bit tighter than I would like. I could probably get it closed, but I will go ahead and add another jump ring. And then I should be good. So I'm going to take that off, close this back up. Remember not to panic. Nobody is going to know how the construction of this is supposed to work except for you. So if you got to only put on 1 jump ring, great. If you got to put on 2, great. If you're going to put more beads, great. No worries. Okay, I'm going to do the same to the other side. Make sure everything's all closed up the way I want. Okay, let's try again. Perfect. So there we go. That is how I like to do it. Super cute. I think it turned out really cute. So, this is our project here. Now, a couple of tips I might add since making this. I really do like this. I think it's really cute. So we already kind of talked about the extension situation and what kind of clasps you're going to use on the end, or maybe you're going to add more beads if you want to make a larger, like a 7.5 to an 8 inch, you know, what have you, 7.5 probably. That's completely up to you. Yeah, so I think I will put this in the sale, and I might add 2 more jump rings to it just so it's a little more adjustable for some more people, because I have a really small wrist and I know not everybody does, but yeah, I think it's super cute. So there we go. I love it. And if you had more beads, that would be cute as well. So there we go. All right, you guys. Well, this has been Bargain Bead Box. This is from March, the Seafoam Sunrise. And this is our project. What is this? Number 3? 4. I think this is project 4. I think this is project 4. So there you go. I hope you're all having a lovely, spectacular, amazing beading day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.